Singapore government is releasing more BTOs and SBF flats than ever before. There's over 55,000 units in 3 years. But why now? And what does it mean for you if you already have a flat? Welcome back to the HDB Guy. The government is ramping up public housing supply, and everyone is asking the same thing. Will prices drop? In this episode, we will explore what's really driving this surge, who it helps, and how it could reshape the resale market. So when you look at what government is actually doing, launching so many units of a BTO out, right? You must understand that HDB has risen quite substantially. HDB has increased 50% since second quarter of 2020 in such a short span of time. So when government pushes out so many BTO units, they actually want to do is to bring down the pricing of the HDB market. They are doing two things. Number one, they want to increase the supply in the market. And number two, they want to bring the demand in the resale market down because they are actually taking away the demand from the resale market. When the supply increases and the demand falls, this will cause a price to moderate. In fact, it will cause a price to come down. Correct. So when we look at the data, right, we must look at it objectively. Yes, it shows 100 over HDB transacted over $1 million. That is only a handful of the transactions. Most of the transactions, in fact, if you ask me whether the market is going up or down, what we should look at is not at the price index, but we should look at the volume of transactions. The volume of transactions in HDB has been dropping, meaning to say there are lesser and lesser HDB being transacted in the resale market. For Yishun, for example, there are about 800 over units for sale in Yishun. And if you search for Woodlands, same thing. So imagine so many units selling. How can the owner sell? The buyers are having a resistance that they do not want to continue to pay for such a high price because they have options. There's so many options in the resale market. They also have a BTO options. So demand is actually very crucial right now. So the buyers, so it's actually tilting towards a buyer's market in a sense. HDB market will not crash, but HDB market will moderate. HDB since second quarter of 2020 has increased 52%. You must understand property market is a cycle. It goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down. So previously in recent years, it has already went up already. So the next natural move, it would be to correct, right? It will go down again before it goes up. So we are now at that correction point, tilting down from the peak. When the HDB market don't perform that well, it also causes the upgrader to take a longer time to sell their current unit to upgrade to a condo. So it is a chain effect. I think government can easily tweak any other policies to cool the market. For example, there was a time the demand was really high from the PR, and that is why government made a tweak in the policy. Once you obtain your PR, you must have at least 3 years later, then you can purchase a resale HDB. When you look at what government is actually doing, they are trying to protect the market. In a sense, they don't want it to be overheated. Neither they want it to be so cold that it is like not moving, but they want to keep in check a balance that yes, once the price risen, they have also to check that whether the income of the Singaporeans are also increasing. They don't allow the price to go haywire like Hong Kong, whereby the price really skyrocketed, whereas the people income, they will not be able to qualify. And then this will result to even many more social problems, like they don't even have a hope for young couples to own a HDB or home because it's so out of reach. So the government do not want that. It depends on when you sell your HDB. HDB is a market cycle. Even if today you bought at a peak price, you just have to wait for the next peak to sell it at the next high. For any property, there are two timings. First one is the time you buy, the time you enter the market, and the second one will be the time you exit the market. So you can control these two things to see whether you make profits or not. So what will happen to the near future in probably the next 2 or 3 years is that you can see that HDB is going to cool down from the all-time high. You will still be seeing $1 million flats because $1 million flats, they are really just a small minority. HDBs in the next 2 to 3 years, it will surely come down from this peak and it will slowly again recover because you can see government is also ramping up a lot of BTOs and there's going to be a lot of supply out there. So as a buyer, it's good for you because you have so many choices. If seller A doesn't want to budge to your price, you just go to seller B, seller C. Then eventually the seller, they have no choice but to reduce the price one because there's much more supply out there right now than the demand. As for the buyers, let's say if you are looking to buy HDB right now, number one, it really depends on your needs and wants. So those buyers that buy a HDB right now, because they have a need, they want to start up their family, they will need to have a place to stay of their own. So they will still, it's a need, it's not a question of want. So as a buyer, let's say you have the luxury of time. Let's say you are currently staying in your parents' place and you think that you want to wait and see and monitor the market. Yes, you can do so. Probably I think that you can enter the market maybe next year or so, it will be a good time, because I think the prices will be much more moderated as compared to now. For example, you are looking to buy Punggol, Sengkang, or the outskirt one, yes, then you have a lot of choice. Yes, you can wait. Let's say central location, rarely people want to sell. So when they want to sell, there's always that few units out in the market only. But the demand is still stronger than the supply. So for these selective cases, the prices will still hold well. Yeah, it is true that people always say that, it's try not to time the market, it's about your timing in the market. It is true to a certain extent. However, right now, things are pretty clear that you can see what is going to happen. When government announce something, being a Singaporean, government will definitely deliver. And if this is the direction that government sets out to be, don't go and bet against it because you will lose. You already know government is launching so many units and it's bound to come down one. Yes, then I think it's a good time. If you can wait, okay, then you can wait. About time you see a good unit, yes, you can just enter. So when we talk about Singapore's property market, right, the changes is always not drastic change. Why people love Singapore's property market is that it is very safe, predictable, and there's no drastic change. So it kind of preserves your wealth. If a HDB is valued at 650 today, what will be the price in 2030? I think the price will still be around the same. Maybe 20 to 30,000 off the difference only. So when we talk about peak to peak, right, if you look at the history of the price index for HDB, from the peak point to the peak point, it usually takes about 10 to 12 years. For Singapore property market is easily and highly predictable in the sense that government already announced 55,000 BTO all the way to 2027. Number two, the number of flats that's going to MOP. The number of flats that's going to MOP to hit the market around that period is also gonna be at an all-time high. So again, the market will be flooded with supply. So the buyers have to come in. So when we talk about Singapore's property market, right, government is always having an eye on it. When they see that the supply is too high, demand is too low, so what will they do? Probably they can adjust the demand part. Maybe they can tweak again that the PR no longer need to wait for the 3 years. Then they increase the demand again. They can always change and tweak the policy to make sure that it is a healthy and robust market. If you're wondering how all these flats might affect your property value, get my free training in the description. In it, I will explain what rising supply means for resale prices and how you can still sell at a record price even when the market is bad. Okay, so when we talk about people that lose money from property, right, I think it's more from the condominium side. Why people will lose money? For example, when the developer launch a price, they launch it at a very high price, and of course the agent will sell the developments to the buyer. Then of course the buyer accept it, and then when the market don't perform well, the condo will be the first one to be affected first before the HDB. That is why you can see when we talk about people making loss from property, mostly they are from the condominium side. That is why for condominiums, you've got to be even more precise about knowing and which one to buy. And even when you buy, you must know what is your exit plan, who you're going to sell it to. For HDB side, what we usually encounter would be what we call a negative sale. Meaning to say, homeowner fully paid their HDB purchase for 500,000. They use full 500,000 from their CPF. Because they have used such a huge amount of CPF, their accrued interest has also grown to a huge significant amount. And so when they sell, they will have not see any cash proceeds because of the CPF accrued interest. You must know what is your plan. Do you intend to upgrade to a condominium, to upgrade to a EC? If that is the case, we can go through the numbers, and if the numbers make sense, and I think yes, it is a good time for sellers to sell and buy. It is a good time to do your sell and buy because prices are moderating. Be sure that you are not selling and buying at the peak prices. Whereas if you don't do that, No wrong to not sell your HDB, just that you are just holding on to your HDB. So when the owner want to sell, number one, why do they want to sell? If they have no clear intention to sell and they're perfectly fine with staying in their HDB, then by all means stay in the HDB, because the prices up and down doesn't affect you, because you're also not selling and not buying. Most importantly, a home is where your family come together, have a meal, have good times together. That's more important. I always say when you buy something, the two that is really confirm, can say confirm make money one is only first timer BTO or EC. These two is confirm you will make money one. Only these two things. When you talk about property, buy property in Singapore, only these two type of property you buy, I dare to tell you, confirm make money. I use the word confirm 100%. Only BTO and EC. As a first timer. The rest, you cannot use confirm, you cannot say 100% because nobody know. Because to buy a BTO is really the cheapest price already. You cannot get it elsewhere. As compared to a EC that you are also getting the cheapest price already. As compared to the surrounding condo, they are generally priced 20 to 30% lower than a private condo. So it is kind of sure bound to make money one. If you want to stay one step ahead in the HDB market, subscribe to my channel because I post everything you need to know about HDB.